Hey guys, Alex here, otherwise known as Clash for Style, and today we are going to be taking a look at some Flybrid Bat attacks and running you guys through how you can decide which base you're going to use these on and how you can execute it. Now you'll see some pretty familiar names in this video, people who are absolute gods in the Clash of Clans scene, so make sure you show some love and support for them down in the comments. Also feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and without any further ado, let's jump in and start breaking down a Flybrid Bat. Okay, so the first attack we're going to be taking a look at here comes in from Townhall, and we are going to be actually starting off things with an RC trick. Now, finding the correct base or identifying the right base, you want to see most of the time you're going to come in with that RC trick. It's really helpful for creating a funnel, and you'll see here for Townhall that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to throw down an earthquake spell and a zap spell, then use that seeking shield ability, and we completely clear out this entire left hand side compartment. We're actually going to be able to grab a couple more defenses with this royal champion, but anything after that compartment is just a bonus. You can see there though, the royal champion trick really does get some pretty nice value. Townhall now going to be coming in with your Sui, and you want to make sure with your Sui you do bring in an ice golem or maybe even two. Most of the time you are going to bring in your king and queen in combination, but this time you're going to see Townhall actually just throws his king in down from this left hand side of the base, trying to get maximum value and really create that funnel. The queen's ability is going to have to be popped pretty early on because we did encounter quite a few of those skeletons, maybe a couple of Teslas up there at that top section, so the queen did get held up. But you can see, look at that funnel that's being created here by Townhall. The RC trick and king in combination on this left hand side, then the ice golem queen combination from that top section, creating a really beautiful funnel here for Townhall's dragons and those super minions in behind just to push their way all the way through. We're then going to be bringing in this blimp in behind, slightly delayed on that, so we can drop our eternal tome ability kind of down in the middle of the base as our blimp makes its way through. We're going to go here for a relatively safe blimp, and we are now going to bring in these bats for the back end of the base. Most of the time with this style of attack, you do want to make sure you are bat bombing either a scatter shot or a wizard tower. You won't see many bat waves coming in an attack like this because you want to take down that wizard tower before it can do too much damage. Luckily here for Townhall, we do have a freeze spell which can go down there at the back end of this attack. Gets a little bit unlucky. It looked like that scatter shot was about to shoot down on our the last super minion that was left up there, but actually did get one shot off on our bats, but luckily a few of them survived, and we can push quite nicely through here on the back end. So you're really looking to try and get as much value from your dragons and those super minions in the base as you can, and make sure that you bring enough free spells to push those bats through the back end of the base. But that was a beautiful example there of how strong Flybrid Bat can be. Let's jump out and check out the next one. Okay, so the next example of the Flybrid Bat that we are going to be taking a look at comes in here from Marinol. Now, you guys will know him from INTZ, a really strong attacker. Now, this is a slightly different variation on the Flybrid Bat attack compared certainly to that of the previous one. We're actually going to be using our super minions here to create the funnel. Our king and queen in combination from this top section are going to be used alongside one super minion up there to create the funnel, and then we're going to bring in the rest of our super minions from this right hand side, and that is going to create a really nice funnel for our dragons and a couple of balloons to push their way through the center of this base. Marinol actually opting here, very ballsy. It wouldn't be me, but he opts here to bring that stone slammer, which definitely can do some nice damage paired alongside the dragons and those super minions. Most of the time though, I do like to bring in that blimp just to secure the town hall, also mitigate some of that damage by the time the dragons end up making it there. But Marinol knew that he wasn't going to actually end up taking too much damage early on in the attack, so he could save his Eternal Tome ability for the Town Hall. And look at these bats, they now start making their way in from this top section of the base. But to be honest, we've got so much left up. We've still got 3 free spells, which we don't even need to use because we've still got, we did still have that Stone Slammer, which does pop down right there. We've still got some super minions. We've still got dragons. Our Grand Warden's still doing some work, and we swag 3 free spells on this base, and that just shows how incredibly strong these Flybrid Bat attacks can be if you execute them correctly. The biggest thing I have to reiterate is creating that funnel, making sure you Sui your king and queen and then use, you know, super minions like Marinol did here or something else on the other side. Push those dragons right up the gut. Beautiful example. Let's hop out and check out the last one. Okay, so the last example of the Flybrid Bat attack is going to come in here from Zakia from Penta. Actually going to be zapping down the air sweeper down there in the center of the base. That's going to be able to get some nice value, making sure that it does not push our dragons back. So that is also an option. You'll see the majority of the time we will try and push away rather than straight into an air sweeper, because that really can affect your pathing of your dragons. Going to be throwing down that Seek and Shield ability from that top section of the base. Unfortunately, looks like was maybe looking to try and grab that multi-target Inferno, but she didn't quite path that way. But again, we are going to be using this Royal Champion early on in the attack. And compared to some other attack strategies where you see the Royal Champion maybe be brought in with the Hog Riders from the Siege Barracks later on in the attack, this one certainly differs from that, because we are going to use the Royal Champion most of the time early on in an attack, either with the Seek and Shield ability and the Zap Earthquake spell combination, or just on her own to help create the funnel. Again, using the RC at the top, we've got a minion to already start cleanup, and then bringing in the King-Queen combination from this bottom section, and that is going to help funnel these dragons. Now, the funnel here for me maybe could have been slightly better set, but it was still there. The dragons do still start to split up a little bit in the center of the base, mixing up that blimp right there a little bit, actually coming through with a Yeti blimp. I tend to bring 5 balloons and a dragon in mine alongside a rage spell, and that will always guarantee you take down that town hall. I just always get a little bit worried about Yetis. If that blimp maybe pops down before it, they will get stuck on the other side of the wall, not going to be able to get that benefit that you're looking for. But we are going to have these bat spells coming in right here. They are going to bat bomb, and we do have a free spell here for the back end of this. But we keep the majority of our dragons alive, which is pretty important in this attack. Now, even though we had quite a few of those bat spell or bats up, the Teslas can do a lot of damage, and if you end up bat bombing right into a Tesla farm, do not be scared to sacrifice those free spells early on in the attack, just to guarantee that your bats aren't going to get hit too hard. Because a Tesla farm, for all you might not think, or there's plenty of bats that'll easily take it down, as they're getting spawned in, the Teslas can just chip them down, and they can't do enough damage to sustain themselves. So it's very, very important you try and make sure you build up a nice clump of bats so they can get the value you need from them, and you can one-shot buildings. That's really, really important for bats. If there's not enough and they start, you know, 2-3 shotting buildings, then your free spells will wear off, and the majority of the time they are going to be taken down. But that's another nice example of a successful Flybrid Bat attack coming in there from Zakia. And that is all we've got time for in this video. Hopefully you guys did learn a little bit about the Flybrid Bat attack, and how in these circumstances, if you can find the correct base, you identify it, you make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. If you're going to use your King Queen for the Sui, then your Royal Champion potentially on the other side, or those super minions as Marinol did. And then push these dragons up the gut and bat bomb or bat wave the back end of the base. Make sure again you have enough free spells to propel those bats on through. You are going to be able to crush bases very, very easily. Those super minions are underrated. Obviously in defensive CCs they are very, very common, but we're seeing them less and less in offense. And I think people should show a little bit of love to them, because they can be very strong indeed. So again, big shout out to all these guys who were competing. This was actually one of the charity wars that went down a little while ago. So big shout out to all of them for competing in a charity war. Always nice to see the Clash community turning up for these sort of events. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you leave a like. Hopefully you learned something. Subscribe for more educational content in the future. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, which should be coming out tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Peace.